With all the talk of resolutions and what you need to be doing as we head into the new year, we thought we'd offer you
7 things you need to stop doing in 2022 to turn your dreams into reality. It's all about getting the balance right and keeping things simple.
Hi, I'm James Davis.
And I'm Claire Davis.
We're the Midlife Mentors, here to lift the lid on how to achieve health and happiness.
The balanced, no-nonsense way.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Midlife Mentors with me, James.
And me, Claire. We had a week off last week, didn't we?
We did, you know what?
Sorry if you missed us.
It was Christmas, that's our only excuse. We were carefully measuring and cutting our mince pie portions.
We were. We actually were. We had a bit of stollen, tiny bit of stollen, a little bit of mince pies.
Tiny bit, Claire, let's be honest. We had Christmas cake, we had mince pies, we had stollen.
Don't have to tell them the secrets of our sugar addiction over Christmas.
We overindulged. But you know what was great about it is just knowing it's once a year, but also knowing what you do either side of that to fix it. So I think Claire's been doing it as well, but I've been doing a little bit extra in the gym, kind of the week before and the week after, just to even everything out.
I have seen him flying and flunging himself around. Flunging. Flogging. I was going to say flung, but then that didn't really work. But yeah.
Flinging.
That's the word. That's the word. I haven't had enough coffee yet. Although it's decaf coffee. Very virtuous. But yeah, I've seen you flinging yourself around the gym at the end of your workout. I wonder what you were doing.
It's my special complex to burn through the glycogen reserves. Boost that metabolic rate even higher.
But in all seriousness, the whole sugar thing, my goodness, because obviously I'm not drinking. James isn't drinking alcohol anymore at the moment.
Can't I just say, we had, amazing Tanqueray 00. We believe that is for gin. Other gin brands are available, but Tanqueray 00 is just incredible. We found vermouth is a big drink over here in Spain, particularly up in Catalonia. They have it everywhere. But we found an alcohol-free vermouth, just a little bit of that with some tonic on ice. Amazing.
It was really good.
We got alcohol-free Cava as well, which is also really nice, and really nice with a dash of the non-alcoholic vermouth. It's a non-alcoholic party going on.
Is this a cocktail making podcast?
Well, maybe we should do a non-alcoholic cocktail podcast.
Anyway,
let us know if you'd like that.
Where I was going with that, people, was the sugar hangover. My goodness, honestly. So it was a bit of a sugar fest. I'm not going to lie. For Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and Boxing Day. But every morning I was waking up just feeling really rotten.
And lying in bed shaking.
No,
with sugar rush.
I had heart palpitations. Honestly, I sound like an old woman. But I was waking James up going, I've got heart palpitations. I can't sleep. I'm wired and I've got heart palpitations, just from sugar. So it's actually a real signal to what that does to your body, because there was no booze involved at all. That's just sugar, people. So quite terrifying, really. Anyway.
What are we talking about today? We're talking about...
Well, you were going to rant about something else.
I was going to rant about something else, but we should let people know what we're going to talk about.
Okay, then you can rant about something
So we're going to talk about 7 things you need to stop doing in 2022.
To turn your dreams into a reality.
Thank you, Claire.
That's right.
So that's pretty self-explanatory. 7 things you need to stop doing to turn your dreams into reality. So that is what we're going to be talking about. But first, I'm having my rant. I've seen some stuff in the UK press about articles kind of positioning how personal trainers are preying on the vulnerable by promoting their services for January. Now listen, if you don't want the services of a personal trainer or a coach, don't have them. But we're not praying. A lot of people, understandably, feel like this is a good time to make a new start, to get their goals in line. A lot of people feel like they've overindulged over this whole festive period.
And they need some support.
Why are we starting to now shame health and fitness? Because that is what we're at the thin end of a wedge that's starting to happen, I believe.
Yeah, well, we're really blessed, really excited. We've got loads of people signed up for the new year because
I know,
they want the accountability, the support, and the right process basically to go through to get them results and to make them feel better inside and out. So I've not even seen that story. You hadn't even discussed that with me, that rant, but that is extraordinary. They're saying we're praying.
On the vulnerable, people who've putting on pounds over Christmas and feel bad about themselves.
Well, they're vulnerable if we're carrying.
Well, they're going to be more vulnerable if they do nothing about it and carry on getting bigger.
Exactly, that's what I was about to say, James.
Thank you.
What was I about to? Oh yes, one other thing. So you are going to be listening to this. This goes live on the 31st of 2021. So the last day of 2021, and what's really exciting, we are doing our 2022 vision setting masterclass again. So we did it at the beginning of this year when it just turned into January. I think that was on the 2nd as well. And it went down such a storm because until we knew this stuff, James and I were just banging our heads against a brick wall, to be honest. There were so many goal setting methods we'd followed, so many coaches we'd followed, all that sort of stuff. But until we actually started living and breathing some of the stuff that we won't be able to go through all of it, but we're going to take you through, we're going to give it a good try to take you through the exact method that we use to start turning ourselves from dreaming into manifesting and make, the last couple of years have been amazing for us. So we're going to be sharing what we call the secret sauce actually in that vision setting masterclass as well. The stuff that most of these approaches just completely miss, but it is the most important thing, and I promise you it's the stuff that's going to be getting you stuck over and over again in self-sabotage and the inner critic and stuff. So it's an inside out job. We can't wait to do that with you, and it's going to be on the 2nd of January, Sunday the 2nd of January at 10 a.m. UK time.
It is. And
I'll put the link in the show notes,
by the way. Put the link in the show notes. I think I'm right saying we're doing this completely live, so not only will you get the masterclass with us, but there'll be time for a Q&A at the end as well. You can get to interact with us. I think I'm right in saying, Claire, we're not going to send this out as a replay, are we? So you want to do the live thing. Yeah,
there's so much power in doing this as part of a group. There's a real energy to it, a real fire to doing it with people at the same time. It's like a collective energy behind your goals, and then you're going to walk away with loads of clarity, confidence, and a roadmap of how to get there in 2022. So you actually finally make those desires and goals a reality, because that's what we want for you. We don't want you to quit. We don't want you to let that inner critic and that self-saboteur knock you off course this year. So we're going to give you the exact process to make sure that doesn't happen.
We are so excited for that.
Really
so if you're listening to this in inverted commas live, today is New Year's Eve. Happy New Year. If you're catching up the day after New Year's Day, hope the head's not too sore. Happy New Year. And we hope to see you all on Sunday.
So we're going to talk about 7 things you need to stop doing in 2022 to turn your dreams into reality. And the reason we wanted to do this is because there is so much talk about adding to your life. There's a real pressure. And actually what we want to say, the vision setting work masterclass on the 2nd is really actually about deconstructing some of the stuff that's not working rather than adding. So a lot of the time we're talking about New Year's resolutions. We're like, what can we do? There's this massive pressure to do more, and add to our lives and add to our stress and add to our pressure. Whereas we wanted to talk about some things that you need to actually start subtracting from your life in 2022 that will honestly completely shift how you're living your life and how you're feeling in it and how you're fulfilling your potential.
It's going to sound really cliche, but all these relate to like the energy and the energy with which you come at things. So the first one is stop striving. Now, I know a lot of you will be like, oh, what? Stop striving? I thought, it's like all about getting and going for it. I always go back to that, a poster I used to see when I was younger about...
We don't want to know about these posters, James.
No, not my Baywatch poster.
Not your Baywatch posters.
The Hoff in his tight red trunk, though.
That was on my wall.
It was a poster of like on the plains of the Serengeti, as the sun comes up each morning, the antelope knows it must outrun the lion if it's to survive. The lion knows it must outrun the antelope to survive. Whether you're a lion or antelope, when the sun comes up,
run.
You better be running. But my response to that is like, what if you're an animal like the porcupine? It just chills, just gets up. I'm a porcupine. Nothing wants to eat me. I'm just going to snuffle around, have a sleep. The point is, when we're striving, we're not saying, don't try, don't put effort. It's the energy of striving. It often comes from a place of fear or desperation. Like, I must. And you're hanging on too tight, like holding on to sand. When you grip it too tightly, it runs through your fingers. It's about coming at stuff with the energy of like, I want to do this. I should do this. This is enabling me to do better things.
I think James is exactly right. When we're striving and struggling, we burn ourselves out, and we're not coming from a place of trusting the process, or most importantly, our innate right to have what we desire, because we feel like we have to work for it, but we are already innately deserving of what we desire. And when we're coming from that place, it's like, I need to say this to you. You do not need to earn success and happiness. It's already yours within you. And there's nothing you need to necessarily go out and become to be more. It's just your expression of yourself that you're going after. So this was a massive thing for James and I, but especially me. This is a few years ago now. I've completely burnt myself out. It was coming to New Year's, so I did a post about this. 3 years ago, I was dreading New Year's, because I was like, I just can't bring myself to do all the goal setting stuff again, the vision setting. It's because I had burnt, and James had too, but I'd really burnt myself out from the striving and the struggling and the pushing. And it was because I didn't trust that I was deserving and worthy of it anyway, so that I must do something else and keep going to earn my happiness, to earn the right to have the things that I desire. And when I recalibrated and created more balance in myself of, okay, I'm going to be doing this from a place of joy. I'm going to enjoy the process. I'm going to enjoy the journey rather than getting somewhere, because the striving is getting somewhere rather than being happy right now with the process as you're on it, on that journey. So as soon as I kind of just relaxed and let it flow and thought, okay, I'm doing what I need to do, but I don't need to earn what I desire, because it will flow to me when I get the balance right, when I'm coming from a heart-centered place, not just a mind action-orientated place, and I get the balance right, things start to unfold really magically. Did that make sense?
It does. You want to be thriving, not striving.
Yeah.
And just when I say those words, there's a big difference in the energy behind them, right?
Yeah.
When you're thriving, you're moving into that flow state where stuff is happening. And so I just want to make this really clear again. By saying stop striving, I don't mean like stop working, stop the effort. It's about having the balance and being mindful of that, and getting into that flow state and going with it, so you can thrive. You can truly thrive rather than feel like you're running to catch up all the time.
Just check in with the energy. Check in with the energy of where it's coming from. Does it feel flow? Does it feel joyous? Does it feel exciting? Or does it feel like I'm only going to be happy when I get there? I'm only worthy when I get there. I'm striving to achieve something. And here's the thing, you will never get there, because if you've got that energy to you, you will always carry on striving rather than thriving.
Exactly.
So now, number two.
Now, this is a lot of you might, at first listen, some of you might think, oh, a lot of these are a bit paradoxical. They're counterintuitive, but it will make sense. Stop procrastinating.
Well, it's all about energy, right? It's all about this is about the energy you're coming from.
So procrastinating, when we say procrastinating, we're not meaning about, if you fall into that striving place and you've realised it, going, oof, I'll pull back and I'll just recalibrate and have a rest. No, procrastinating is when you're actually avoiding. Procrastination is a form of avoidance, and it can show up. We've done a whole podcast on this, but it can show up in many, many different ways. It's that quest for perfectionism. Everything's got to be exactly perfectly right before I launch it or I do it. Waiting for the right time, waiting for the right money to be there, waiting for the right stars in the heavens to align. Going, I just want to do one more course, or I want to research one more thing. It's just ways of avoiding actually taking action. So this is the thing. Stop procrastinating and take action. But take aligned action, energetic action that's going to take you not only towards your goal, but is energetically aligned with what your goal is, who you want to become with that goal.
Well, the only way to move through fear, because it's always going to be there, but to move through fear is actually to just get into action. It actually is the antidote to fear, is moving.
Antidote
to fear is actually antidote. I can't get my words out at all today. I need to get my dictionary out. Is actually to start moving in line with your goals, like James said. But, you know, for me, procrastination is fear of failure. It's fear of failure manifested. It's sitting there waiting for a perfect time. And the perfect time to do anything doesn't exist. There will always be a reason to put it off. But, you know, one of the things we'll say is time is short, friends. And done now imperfectly is way better than perfect in 10 years' time, because that time never comes. And with every passing year, you lose even more faith in yourself.
So true, so true.
So the next one is stopping. So we've done a whole podcast on this as well, but this is really one of the things, and it's a phrase that a lot of our clients say is embedded in their mind. Just stop stopping. Because the reality is there is no overnight success. Success comes from consistent action over and over and over again. And that's more important actually when the going gets tough, because it is easier when the going gets tough and we get sidelined and, you know, life happens. It's within us all to just go, oh, you know, I'm just going to stop, I'm going to quit, it's too hard. But actually, if you can stop stopping at those moments in your life, the rewards are absolutely huge. It's at that time you need to dig deep and stop stopping the most. But, you know, most people want the quick fix, but it's also why most people are unhappy and unhealthy, because they can't see it through. And one of the things that we always say about most things is focus on the cost of you stopping, right? What is the cost of you stopping right now, a year from now, 6 years from now, 10 years from now? And we promise you will thrive and succeed if you stay the distance and stop stopping.
If we look at it in neurological terms, actually what happens is every time you stop, you're sending a reinforcement to your old behaviour and your old belief that you want to stop. So let's use it like an example. Some days, like even Claire and I get up and we don't fancy going to the gym, just don't feel like it. But guess what? You know,
I never do. No, I'm joking. I do.
And when you go, it reinforces that I am someone who does this thing. This
Even
is something
when
I
it's
enjoy,
hard.
and I always feel better afterwards. But the point is, you know, on the rare occasions that I haven't, it makes it much harder to go the next time, and the next time, and the next time. You slowly start to lose that faith in yourself and your ability. You're slipping back to the old ways. And I will paraphrase the quote I probably always get wrong.
Well, at least you haven't got 2 words wrong in a podcast. Although I was trying to mix, what was it? Flouncing.
Flouncing and flunging.
Flunging and flouncing. I'm going to try and come up with a moulded version of that.
I think you should. Or go back to your alphabeti spaghetti and work out the words again.
That's really neat. Oh, my little words on the. You need to get that on the fridge for fridge magnets.
You've got your word of the day toilet paper.
Get fridge magnets for me so I can start spelling words properly.
Listen, my point was we're not saying don't rest. It's okay to rest, and you should, but just beware. And the quote goes something like this: "On the plains of hesitation, bleached the many bones of the thousands who tired lay down to rest, and resting died, not knowing salvation lay over the next horizon." So that just means, like, it's fine to rest for a bit, regather, regroup, recalibrate, but listen, momentum breeds momentum. Keep it going, but from an energetic place of moving towards your goal and not coming from that striving place we were talking about earlier.
Being consistent wins the day. It's not necessarily about talent. It's not necessarily about anything else. It's honestly about taking those steps every single day and just focusing on the process, not the destination. One of the things I just wanted to say about that, actually, just makes me feel all cute inside when you say that quote out loud, because this is a perfect example. Like, James sent me that when we were friends. I think it was in between where we had dated a little bit, but I had stood you up and just been a bit of a pest and a bit of a monkey. So James stayed my friend because he's a beautiful man, and he sent me that quote when I was really, really, really struggling at the time to get a lot of my coaching, my PT coaching, my nutrition coaching, and all that sort of stuff off the ground. Back in Surrey, and it was a real struggle, and I'd taken on a mortgage on my own. I was not earning enough money to even cover it, and I just wanted to quit and to stop, and I was in such a mess. I had no money, and James sent me that quote, and it was honestly that picked me up and got me going, and it saw me through a good few months. Keep reading that over and over and over again. So we need to put that quote somewhere.
It's a beautiful quote.
It is. It's amazing. So the next one is stop prioritising everyone else. Now this is a really, really big thing for so many of our clients. You know, once we've got to midlife and we've got all these pressures and all these things vying for our time, you've got children, you've got your job, you've got potentially aging parents, you've got all this stuff, you know, financial concerns, world concerns, you've got all this stuff. It feels really alien to start prioritising yourself, and you're not giving yourself permission to prioritise yourself, and you don't even know how to. And one of the quotes I saw recently was, it really resonated with me, because so many of the coaching calls I was having with my women, the one-to-ones at that time, was a lot around selfishness and ego, and it feeling selfish and egotistical to really focus on yourself. But one of the quotes I read was really simple: when you're used to not getting your needs met, prioritizing yourself feels selfish. So it's going to feel selfish when you first prioritize yourself, because you're so used to not having your needs met.
Yeah, you must give yourself permission to prioritize yourself.
Yeah, because actually everyone else, here's the thing, the energy, the cup half full, you're giving from an empty vessel as well, and you're not giving the best of yourself to everyone else. So you think it's selfish, but actually it's the total opposite. If your energy is depleted, you're going to be cranky, you're going to be not focusing properly, you're probably not your best at work, your best partner, best for your children. So even that little bit of time where you're prioritising what's important to you, I would say your health is the most important thing, because without that you have nothing. So once you prioritise that, everything else will expand and improve in a way that you can't even understand yet. We see it all the time. It's the opposite of selfish.
Point 5, stop fearing change. This is such a big one. Listen, change is growth.
Yeah.
So if you're fearing change, you're fearing growth. And that's never a good place to be, right? The danger of the comfort zone.
Yes.
Change is going to happen anyway. It can't be avoided. You know, that is one thing that is certain. The only things of certainty are changes, taxes, and death. Without change, you're
How
not going to...
cheery. No, it's true though.
Without changes, you won't feel challenged, and overcoming challenges is what makes us who we are. It gives us new skill sets, new coping skills, new coping strategies. It makes us resilient, and it makes us trust ourselves more. You know, every time we take a step into the unknown and we succeed, it emboldens us to take the next step, and then the next step, and the next step, and that's how we do it. We're not talking about taking massive leaps, just a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
And you can grow and grow and grow, which is the natural human state.
Because actually keeping everything the same isn't safety and security to your soul, which wants to expand and to experience itself and to fulfill itself. It's almost like a certain death. And, you know, stop fearing change. Fear's always going to be there. Change is always going to be there. But it is like flexing a muscle. Moving towards change becomes less fearful every single time you do it. And I know that's definitely for us. There's so many things that we do now that I don't know, that we wouldn't have dreamed of doing even a few years ago, but because we've got more confidence and trust in ourselves to change and know that the world's not going to fall apart. And even, you know, if you over catastrophize it, most of that doesn't ever come true. You learn to trust yourself. So actually heading towards change and tackling it straight away is head on, is something that we've got used to. And it's like flexing a muscle.
And it's exciting. It keeps life fresh.
It does. Keeps it fresh. Number 6 is...
stop comparing.
Yes.
And this is so prevalent. You know, I've noticed now, I think it must be the time of year, December and January, my feed is full of people telling me how great and amazing their life is. Just don't believe a word of it, basically.
No,
you're seeing everyone else highlight reels. You're certainly seeing what they want you to see. Many of them are lying. Some of them I know, and I know they're lying. Anyway, it's just be careful. The grass is greenest where you water it.
That's one of my favourites. I love that phrase. But it is really, really easy, especially if we're feeling a bit low on energy, a bit down in the dumps, like we're going into a new year and we haven't achieved what we wanted and we're being down on ourselves, that inner critic. It's really, really easy to start looking at everyone else and thinking, my goodness, why can't I be like that? Why have they got their life sorted? Why are they managing to do what I can't? And honestly, it's probably because they've gone through a lot. We don't know what people have gone through. People don't always tell the stories, and most often they don't. They just put like little cherries on top and tell the result. but no one tells what's underneath, you know, like that iceberg. No one tells you that the hard graft, the risk, the pain, the sleepless nights, all of that stuff that's gone into making their life the way it is now. And it won't be perfect. And anyone that's saying that their life is perfect and they haven't got any demons and there's not healing that they need to do, anyone that's saying that and positioning themselves as this enigma, I wouldn't personally trust anyway. But also it's not real, and most of what we see now in the world on social media and the digital world isn't really real. So be very discerning. Be really discerning about how much time you're spending on social media or in looking at digital stuff. It's really, really easy to come off your own lane. And that's why this vision setting masterclass is so key, because we're gonna run on Sunday the 2nd. It's so key because it's going to get you looking at yourself and what's important to you and what your values are and how you want to express yourself. And there's only one of you. There's only one of you, and you have your unique story to sing. So stop trying to be like everyone else. There is no other you.
I was going to say that. You are unique, and you are blessed to be you with your own journey to create.
Yeah, stop comparing. It's the thief of joy. Comparison is the thief of joy. And also, when you're feeling like you're going off track and you're starting to comparing yourself to other people, come back to yourself, come back to your home, come back to your centre, and think about all the amazing things that you have achieved, all the things you've overcome, the journey you've been on, and the things that you are grateful for. Because, you know, it happens to all of us. There are certain things, there are people that have achieved the things that James and I want to achieve and that we look up to. But, you know, I always come back. When I feel myself feeling a bit inadequate, you know, I come back and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm not at all. Look at where I'm at. Look at what I have. Look at how I am blessed.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a fine line between inspiration and comparison. I would say it is good to look at people who have genuinely achieved and be inspired by them, for yourself to kind of take action. But you know, if you find yourself being dragged into this long scroll of comparing, then just stop.
And the final one is stop living in the past. Whoop, whoop.
Well, I'm sure many of us will want to stop living in the nightmare of 2020 and 2021.
But it's...
You know, as the Viking said, don't look back.
You're not going that way. You know, a lot of us end up not taking responsibility for being here and now in the present. And... you know, it is easy to become a victim of our past and regurgitate all those memories and all those past hurts and drag them into the present moment. And here's the thing: as soon as they're in the present moment, they're in the future as well. Because every present moment, you're living it over and over and over again, and you're letting that story define you. Like I would say, think about the story you are telling. What's your story? Because if your story is a whole heap of things that are negatively impacting you right now that are from the past, it's time to start telling a new story and stop living in the past.
Yeah, exactly that. You know, our human brain is an amazing thing, but we are hardwired. Basically, we're always bouncing between...
You're struggling a little bit there with your words.
We're bouncing between the present and the past, because the way our brain works is just constantly flick back. It's basically lazy software for us. It takes shortcuts. So I'll look back to reference all our past experiences, behaviours, beliefs, and use those to extrapolate forward to what we should be doing in the present. So we're constantly ping-ponging backwards between present and past. What we want to do is just try and consciously move to be living more in the present, and even do some of the great stuff that Claire and I do, like future rehearsal, which is a really powerful way of like helping set your goals.
Yeah, and also the subconscious mind will always try to prove itself right. So if that's the way it's always been, and these are the things that you've always believed, it will keep on showing you things that reinforce that belief and that story. So it's really about time to take this opportunity to stop living in the past and think about, you know, is that really true? Is that really the story I want to carry on telling myself and the world? What happens if I carry on telling that story? What happens if I keep living in the past? Is it time now to rise like a phoenix from the ashes and actually use that stuff to support the person I'm becoming, but not be it, not live it, not keep bringing it into the present, because then it's going to become your future as well. It's going to become, you know, the next years to come. So they are our 7
stop stop doing things.
Stop doing things to try. What is wrong with
For
us?
2022.
It's certainly not too much sugar or alcohol.
It's a withdrawal now, isn't it?
It's withdrawal from sugar. So we really, really hope you found that helpful. We would love to know. Here's a little challenge for you. We'd love to know what some of your stops.
Yes, I like that. Tell us what you're stopping in 2022.
Yes.
Love to hear that.
Yes.
team@themidlifementors.com, or you can join our Facebook community, which is free, the Midlife Mentors community. On Facebook. Wow, the brain really is struggling today.
It's fine, because you don't need to, darling. I'm going to
drop
save
us a
you
message
here.
on Instagram.
Instagram. He was about to call it Instapig.
I was going to call it Instapig.
It's a very strange thing that James changes the words of things. I think it's quite cute, but some people might
Or
say
you can
it's
catch
annoying.
me on my TikTok channel. No,
you
just
can't.
joking.
He calls it Instapig rather than Instagram. I have no idea where that comes from. But I'm going to put all the links to all of the stuff that James just mentioned in the show notes, and our free vision setting masterclass for 2022 is happening on the 2nd of January at 10 a.m. UK time, and you do not want to miss this opportunity. It's so powerful and so exciting.
See you then. In the meantime, Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! Lots of love!
Yeah.
You've been listening to the Midlife Mentors with Claire and James Davis.
We'd love to hear from you. So drop us a line at info@themidlifementors.com with any questions or topic suggestions.
And make sure you join us on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. You can find us under the Midlife Mentors.
Yeah.